The next demonstration involves appreciating multiple identities. Understanding the intersection of different cultural identities helps clients view themselves in a more holistic manner. So, besides moving to a very small Cuban community here in Hawaii, you're also new to the U.S. military culture, right?
Yeah.
How has that been for you?
Well, I think that it adds on to everything else. I don't know how familiar you are with Cuban history, but in general, people from Cuba leave their country to be able to express their political ideas freely and not be persecuted. And that's the primary reason why my parents left. Being in the military, somebody like me who's against the war, who doesn't agree with, just supporting what we're doing right now, it feels very strange. It feels like everyone has this mentality that we can't talk about whether we're pro or against the war. We just have to support the troops. And I mean, my husband is deployed, but I don't agree with what's going on. So it's this whole thing where I grew up being able to express my political ideas, being able to always say what I thought about things. And here it's like I can't because I'm going to be looked down upon because it's equated with being against the war.
Wow.
So it puts a lot of stress. It's like I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to deal with it. And another way I can't be myself.
Right. So even more so, you're finding things that you can't talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. It sounds like these two parts of your identity are in conflict with each other.
They are. I mean, I want to support my husband and I want to be, that good, supportive wife who's there and who agrees with what he's doing to a certain extent. But it's not, I didn't enlist in the military myself. I'm not in the military. I'm just living in that culture because we moved here. If I was home, I could talk to whoever I wanted about anything about the war, and they would understand that it's not that I'm not supporting my husband. But here, when you're living on a base, it's a different expectation, I think.
So not only do you have this side of you that you're adjusting to the ethnic part, right, with the being Cuban and being in a community where there's very few Cubans, there's also the military part, the political part, right, where you are not really in favor of this war that's going on. And normally you'd be able to express yourself freely about that without feeling, worried that people will judge you for that. But since you've moved on base, you're afraid that if you say what's really on your mind, that people will turn their backs on you or reject you.
Yeah. So I don't.
So it makes sense to me that you would be feeling depressed if you can't even express yourself both ethnically and politically, right? Yeah, and so I think it would be important for us to find ways to integrate these two parts of your identity. I think that will help as we're trying to cope with the depression.
Okay.